So back in September of last year, one of my good friends and colleagues came up to me, Sherry Courtney, that's her name, and she was launching an entirely new idea. It's kind of cool. It's essentially like BNI, but for the faith, the Christian community, called Be the Bean. And so it's a faith-driven organization that runs on networking, leadership, and just really coming together to get to know each other, share business, but also grow together in our faith. And so she launched the idea back in September with the idea of just starting in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and then trying to take it out as far as she can, multiple locations, chapters across the country. And so at the time, really it was just an idea. I should put a post out on Facebook and got 20, 25 people to come to this initial event that took place right in Fredericksburg. No website, nothing, literally just an idea. Got people together. She had a structure for the meeting, and it went really well. And then just kept it going, or set it up so that we'd have that same day of the month, first Thursday of every month, where we'd get the group together and go through that same structure, share business, talk about what we do, but also really come together closer, have deeper conversations, and then also lead with our faith. And so as she was getting serious about this, she went to somebody that she knew to ask, like, hey, can you help me build a website for this and really start to build this out? So she had somebody do it for her. And it turns out this person did a halfway decent job, built this on Wix. Just like a templated Wix site, put some things together. It took like 2 months, maybe it felt like, to put together. And all the while, I was like, she didn't ask me to do it, but let me try and throw something together. And so ultimately, what we're now using as the Be the Bean website and all kinds of things, I put together a site in about, at least a template for it in about 2 days. And I want to share what that evolved into, and ultimately what we're using for, what she's using for Be the Bean, and some other things that I built off of that, just to show you what's possible. And it all started with this one very premise. So the question is like, okay, what is the problem that we're trying to solve for? And how quickly can I validate, how quickly can I put something together, test an idea, and see what breaks, see what works, and then get feedback from the customer, even if the person wasn't a paying customer, somebody was just trying to help out. And so what I'm going to share over the next couple minutes here, this might be only 5 minutes long, is the current operating Be the Bean website, which I put together, we're now using, and of all the features inside of that, the backend operating system that I also put together to solve the next problem, and then also sort of this, like the growth strategies that we're starting to put in place to spread the word even further about Be the Bean. So without further ado, just going to share my screen here. All right, and so here it is. All right, went ahead and I built out the kind of the mock-up for this site pretty quickly, and shared it with a bunch of people in the group. Shared it with Sherry. She really liked it. Much more efficient and better designed than what she paid for initially. And so pretty standard site. I modeled it off of some other of the like a BNI type thing. There's another Christian organization that is focused on networking, similar type design. And so I took all that, took her logo, and put it all together into this site here. But pretty cool. It all functions nicely. It's got the Be the Bean story about what that actually means, the pillars, and how it works. Just like you would expect for any particular networking type opportunity. More of the about section, some images there. What I thought was pretty cool, one, obviously added this nice little donate button. So you can go ahead and donate right from here. That's nice. Find a chapter. And so the active chapters, these are constantly trying to grow these, but it tells you a little bit more. So here's Fredericksburg, led by Sherry and Jen, first Thursday of the month. Right, and then you can scroll all the way down to see more about the meeting, and you can even register for the meeting right from here. Name, email, phone number. When you do this, you get an auto email that comes right back to you, welcoming you to the community, giving you the details for the event, and then cool, we've got you plugged in, so we can send you further reminders and that sort of thing. Same thing with the events. Put this page together. You can register for the Fredericksburg chapter meeting, Knoxville as well. Got our resources, school community, YouTube channel, which we just launched about a week and a half ago, and even a sponsors section where we start directing our sponsors to come on, and they can get their sponsorship directly through here. And even to so much as to start a chapter, tells you what's in it for you, how to apply and all of that stuff, and makes it seamless. But now once we created this, it's like, great, we're starting to get people that are registering, and we didn't really have a place to see all of this, to communicate with the members. It was just like going into a Google Sheet, essentially. And so I built out the next step in the platform. Again, I built this from scratch, the Be the Bean operating system, and trying to put things together that will help this idea scale. And particularly as we start to get more chapter leaders, we need to have a back office where they can go in, have the tools and resources that they need, add their members, communicate with their members. We can see their growth, our growth, all of that good stuff. And also a nice resource to make this more attractive to sponsors. They can see, oh my goodness, you've got 15,000 engaged members in your database, all of that stuff. So we had our dashboard. Obviously, we just started up. So you'll see zeros on the revenue, but that is tied into our Stripe. Our membership here, members by chapter, which is pretty cool. And then in the chapter management, again, I built this all from scratch pretty quickly over the course of a weekend, just to solve that next step in the problem chain. So we can look at our active chapters. We can see our members here. Right, I'm not going to show all that. Event management, email composer. So this is a pretty simple thing, but also to be able to pull up our chapters. So if I want to just send to the Fredericksburg chapter, I could pull that up. Who's the email from? Obviously that's from me. And email subject, can use AI to write it if I want it as well. Starting to load stuff into our content hub here. Got some assets like our logo, Be the Bean content. So all the chapter leaders have access to the content hub. They can use all of this. And then starting to build out our SOPs as well, which will be useful. And then our sponsorships. And then project board for the owners. They could see, okay, what are the things that we have to do? And so that was the next step. Pretty cool to be able to solve that problem. Didn't take that long to do. It was just, hey, how do we see who's coming to events? How do we see our growth? How do we have something to show to our sponsors as well, or potential sponsors, and then communicate with our members? And then the last piece, again, from the growth perspective, we launched this channel not even 2 weeks ago. It was about 9 days ago, I would say. And so launched the first 2 videos, got a couple of shorts on here as well. And 80 subs so far, pretty decent on the views, 722, 1,400 views there. I mean, not too bad for a brand new channel. And then on the shorts, obviously gotten some more views on that. But these are the sort of things, like, we're all having these pieces to the puzzle relate together. So ultimately, it comes down to, like, how are we solving these particular problems? Using the tools, the skill set that we have, the marketing assets, the marketing knowledge, and then AI in particular places. And so in terms of creating prototypes, new websites, new apps, new things like that, we're able to push those out pretty quickly, at least a prototype of it, see what's broken, fix it, solve whatever problem we need to. Now, I mean, a lot of what I'm focused on is doing this specifically for senior care, healthcare providers in that particular industry. This just is an example of how, okay, we had a problem, which is no online presence at all, right? And we had this cool idea, this idea that we believe in terms of getting faith-based networking out there for the Be the Bean community. And we validated that first by people showed up. They came to the event. And then so much so that before we even had a website, before we had anything, we had other people asking, hey, can we start up a Be the Bean location in Knoxville, in this area? And so with that came, great, let's go, let's figure that out. And that's where we created the home base, which is the website, functional to be able to capture the registrations, to have information for potential chapter leaders, sponsors, all that good stuff. It's going to position us for growth, a good home base, and then how to manage all of that on the back end. It's like, great, now we have all these people that are responding. We want to know, what does our growth look like? How do we get in touch with our members? How do we have assets for our chapter leaders so that they know what to do? We're all following the same structure. And again, it's all the foundation of this business model, which is largely run through sponsorships, but more so impact. How are we taking this out to the world, built on not like a stack of a house of cards, but something that's going to scale with the mission? And then lastly, the awareness piece. And so obviously using things like, Facebook groups that we have one for this particular thing, but Facebook ads, having the YouTube channel, the content, all that stuff that's going to support the mission, drive people back to the places where we want them to go so we can continue growing. But those are, again, whether I'm growing a nonprofit or a home care agency or a mobile wound care practice, fundamentals are going to be the fundamentals. It's largely about driving awareness, getting our message in front of the right people at the right time, and then having a seamless way to convert that attention into customers, into clients, into patients in a seamless way that is ultimately built upon like a 5-star experience for them, where we then deliver the promised result. And so that's all we're doing in this particular thing. So I'll end with that. But again, if you've got any thoughts, questions, things that or questions that you have for me, just shoot them over. Love to have the conversation, and we'll go from there.